Welcome to my channel, Bright English. Today we will learn about money. Money is important. Some people say money does not matter, but in reality, money touches almost every part of our lives. Without money, even simple needs become difficult. When you wake up in the morning and drink tea or coffee, money was involved in buying that. When you put on clothes, money was used to purchase them. When you travel to school, to work, or anywhere else, money is needed. So when someone says money is not important, they forget that almost every daily activity is connected to it. Money is important because it gives us security. Imagine a life without enough money. Every day would be full of stress, wondering how to pay rent, how to buy food, how to pay for medicine. This constant fear destroys peace of mind. But when you have enough money, you feel safe. You know your family can eat, your children can study, and if a problem comes, you can handle it. This security is one of the greatest gifts of money. Money is also important for freedom. Think about the difference between a person who has no savings and a person who has financial stability. The first person is forced to work even if he hates his job. He has no choice. The second person, who has savings and investments, can choose his path. He can leave a toxic job. He can start a business. He can travel. He can take care of his health. Money gives you choices, and choices give you freedom. Another reason money is important is because it allows you to help others. Without money, even if your heart is generous, you are limited. You may want to help a poor child go to school. You may want to support a family in need. You may want to build something good for society. But if you do not have money, your ability is small. With money, your kindness becomes action. You can give, you can build, you can create impact. So money is not only about you. It is also about the people around you. Money is important for growth. Education, skills, and experiences often require money. If you want to learn a new skill, you may need to pay for a course. If you want to travel and experience new cultures, you need money. If you want to build a business, you need capital. Growth becomes easier when money is available. Without money, even talent can remain hidden because the person has no resources to develop it. Another point is health. Without money, access to good food, clean water, and quality health care becomes difficult. A person may suffer not because of illness itself, but because he cannot afford treatment. On the other hand, a person with money can quickly get care, buy medicine, or even prevent illness with better lifestyle choices. Money cannot buy health completely, but it gives access to things that protect health. Money is important for peace of mind. Imagine two people, one living in debt and one living debt-free. The first person wakes up every morning with worry, phone calls from lenders, fear of unpaid bills. The second person wakes up with calm, knowing that his expenses are covered. Peace is priceless, but money plays a big role in creating it. Let me share a simple story. A father worked very hard his whole life but never managed money wisely. At old age, he had no savings, no investments, and no house of his own. He became dependent on his children, another father, who earned even less, saved a little every month, bought a small house, and invested slowly. At old age, he had dignity, independence, and peace. Both men worked equally hard, but the one who understood the importance of money lived a more secure and peaceful life. Money is not everything, but without it, many important things suffer. Education suffers, health suffers, relationships suffer, dreams suffer. People fight not always because of love or hate, but often because of financial stress. Families break under the pressure of money problems. So when we say money is important, it is not about greed. It is about stability and dignity. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up in the morning in a small room, and the first thing you hear is the sound of unpaid bills being discussed outside your door. The landlord is angry. The electricity company has sent a notice, and there is no food in the kitchen. You want to send your child to school, but you cannot afford the fees. How do you feel? Tired, helpless, maybe ashamed. Now open your eyes and think of another picture. You wake up in your own home. Sunlight enters your room. You open the fridge and there is food. Your children are ready for school because their fees are already paid, and you have money saved for emergencies. How do you feel now? Peaceful, confident, maybe even excited. This is the power of money. It does not solve all problems, but it changes the way you experience life every single day. Money is important because it touches your dignity. When you do not have money, you are forced to say yes to things you hate. You work at jobs you dislike. You tolerate people who disrespect you. You depend on others for survival. But when you have money, you can stand straight. You can make choices with confidence. You can say no when something is against your values. Money gives you dignity, and dignity gives you self-respect. Now let me tell you a story. There was once a boy named Arif. His father worked as a driver, earning very little. They lived in a small rented house, and money was always a problem. When Arif got sick, his father could not afford good medicine, so Arif suffered for weeks. One day, his father said to himself, "I will not let my son suffer because of money again." He started saving a small amount every day, just coins at first, later small notes. Years passed, and slowly his savings grew. When Arif wanted to go to college, his father used that money to pay the fees. Arif studied hard, became successful, and later supported his whole family. What made this possible was not a miracle. It was the father's realization that money is important. Without that awareness, Arif's future could have been completely different. Money is also important for dreams. Imagine someone who wants to become a doctor, an engineer, a traveler, or even a writer. Dreams sound beautiful, but without money, many dreams remain only dreams. Education costs money. Travel costs money. Even starting a small project costs money. Money is like fuel for the engine of your dreams. Without fuel, the engine may look shiny, but it cannot move. With fuel, it can travel anywhere. Let us talk about relationships. Many people say love is enough. But look at reality. Couples fight, families argue, brothers separate, not always because of love issues, but because of money issues. Lack of money creates stress, and stress destroys relationships. On the other hand, when there is financial stability, families feel calmer, children grow in peace, and love has space to grow. Money does not buy love, but it creates an environment where love can survive. Another truth is respect. Society respects people who have financial stability, even if you are kind and intelligent. If you are always broke, people treat you differently. But when you have money, suddenly your advice is heard. Your words carry weight, and people treat you with respect. It may sound unfair, but it is reality. Money does not define your character, but it influences how others see you. That is why learning about money is not greed, it is wisdom. Now think about emergencies. Imagine your loved one needs surgery, but you do not have money. Imagine your child needs urgent medicine, but you cannot pay. That feeling of helplessness is painful. Money cannot stop death, but it can save lives when treatment is possible. Money in emergencies is like water in the desert. Without it, survival becomes difficult. This is why wise people say, save money not only for yourself, but for the unknown future. Money is also important because it gives you voice. A poor man may have great ideas, but without money, he struggles to be heard. A rich man with average ideas can easily gather attention. This is not fair, but it is reality. If you want to make change, if you want to spread a message, if you want to create something for society, money gives you the platform. Without it, even truth can be ignored. Let me share another story. A woman named Sarah lived in a small village. She dreamed of opening a school for poor children. But she had no money. She worked hard, saved slowly, and after many years, she opened a small room as a classroom. Then she applied for funds, gathered donations, and slowly expanded. Today, hundreds of children study in her school. Her dream became reality because she respected money, saved money, and used it wisely. Without money, her dream would have remained just a thought in her heart. Money is not everything, but it multiplies your opportunities. It allows you to learn, to grow, to travel, to experience life in full color. Without it, life becomes limited. Imagine two friends, both intelligent, both talented. One has money to invest in courses, books, and travel. The other has no money. After 10 years, the difference is clear. One has grown, explored, and achieved, while the other has remained stuck. Money is one of the most powerful tools in life. Without it, even the most basic needs become difficult. With it, doors begin to open. People who understand money early create opportunities, while those who ignore it often face struggles that could have been avoided. Money is important because it gives stability. Families that manage money wisely live with less stress. Children in such families study with confidence because they know their fees will be paid. Their meals will be ready, and their future is being planned. On the other hand, families with no financial discipline live under constant pressure. Even small emergencies feel like storms because there is no safety net. Money is important because it creates independence. A person who has savings and resources does not have to beg or depend on others for small needs. He can stand on his own feet. Independence gives strength, and strength earns respect. Many people lose respect not because they lack character, but because they are always financially weak. Money gives you the power to make your own choices. Money also protects relationships. Many couples break not because of lack of love, but because of financial stress. Arguments about bills, debts, and responsibilities slowly destroy peace in the house. When money is handled wisely, those fights reduce, love grows, and families stay stronger. Money cannot create love, but it can protect it from unnecessary pressure. Money is important for dignity. A worker who manages his small income carefully may live with more pride than a rich man who wastes everything and ends up in debt. Dignity is not about showing off. It is about living without begging, without fear, without shame. And that dignity comes from learning how to use money wisely. Now let us look at education. Every dream, whether it is becoming a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, or an artist, needs money somewhere. Books cost money, classes cost money, training costs money. Without money, talent often remains hidden. How many children in the world are intelligent but cannot study because their families cannot afford it? That is why learning about money is not only about survival. It is about giving your dreams a chance to live. Money is also important because it gives you options in life. A person with no money must accept whatever comes, even if it means pain or humiliation. A person with money has choices. He can say no to a toxic job. He can say yes to opportunities. He can decide where to live, how to spend time, and when to rest. Life with choices is freedom. Life without choices is slavery. Another reason money matters is health. If you fall sick, money decides whether you can get good treatment or not. If you have resources, you can quickly go to a hospital, buy medicine, or even prevent illness with good food and lifestyle. Without money, even small health issues can turn into big problems. People often say health is wealth, but wealth protects health. Let us look at an example. There was a man who earned very little, but respected money. Every month, he saved a small portion of his income. He avoided loans, lived simply, and invested slowly. Years later, when his children wanted higher education, he was ready. Another man in the same job, earning the same salary, never saved. When his children grew up, he had no money, only regrets. Both worked equally hard, but only one understood the importance of money. This shows that money itself is not about how much you earn, but about how you treat it. Money also creates impact. With money, you can support others, donate to causes, and build something that outlives you. Without money, even the biggest heart remains limited. You may want to help others, but you cannot go beyond words. With money, your kindness becomes action. Money is not greed. It is not evil. It is a tool. A knife can cut vegetables or harm someone. The knife is neutral. The hand decides its use. Money is the same. In the hands of a wise person, it creates security, growth, peace, and opportunities. In the hands of an unwise person, it creates debt, stress, and destruction. The choice is always in your hands. So remember this truth. Money is important because it touches every part of life. It protects your family. It gives you dignity. It grows your dreams. It builds independence. It supports relationships. It strengthens health. And it gives freedom. Ignoring money is like ignoring oxygen. You may not think about it every moment, but without it, life becomes impossible. Thanks for watching.